Hey friends, here are a few things to keep in mind this week and a couple of practices that I'd like for you to try to lean into in conversation with your child. So as you're out and about this week with your child, I want you to be on the lookout for suffering in the world and maybe occasionally open up some conversation with your child, or even just notice out loud what it is that you see as an adult around you in your surroundings. So we live in a neighborhood where there are a number of homeless camps, and a fairly high percentage of the folks in our city who are struggling with homelessness are around the vicinity of our neighborhood. And so we're interacting with the homeless population like pretty often. But even when we're not directly interacting with the homeless population and with the people who are struggling in that way, I'll often just notice out loud what I see around me. And so I'll say something like this. Hey, did you notice the couple up at the end of the highway holding up a sign? I really believe that God wants to end homelessness. I think it's part of his desire to bring restoration into the world. So I'll say something small like that to just introduce this. And as we grow in our capacity to notice things in the world that need to receive the healing touch of God, we can bring our children into a posture of empathy for the suffering and the pain that's happening in the world. So there are small little conversations that we can have alongside of our children that help them not to grow insensitive to the reality that there are things all around us that are waiting for the restoration and the healing of God's work in the world. So maybe spend some time talking about sickness and disease that is happening maybe globally. So as I shoot this video, we're in the middle of a global pandemic with COVID-19, and I suspect it's going to go on quite some time. And there's so many opportunities to be aware of our need for God to bring this healing into the world. And if there's somebody that is sick that you know is sick, take a few minutes together with your child to pray for that person's healing and restoration. Maybe if you have some time of reading with your child, read the passage in Mark chapter 10, which is the passage where Jesus heals the man Bartimaeus, which was happening in the imaginative prayer that we did. Ask your child to read the passage out loud and ask them if there's anything about the story that sticks out to them, any detail that is worth noting. So having conversation with your children about sickness and disease, listen, it doesn't need to feel heavy, but I also think it's okay to feel sobered by the reality of the pain and the suffering and the fact that the fullness of God's kingdom is still on the horizon. It's getting closer. And we can ask for God's kingdom to come, and part of our life with God includes living in the tensions that things are not yet what they will be one day. So I hope this is helpful. Try on some of the stuff this week, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, friends.